Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Williams with the NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Chris Oladokun, who's a quarterback out of Samford. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing? Appreciate you for having me.
I'm doing all right. Can you just describe to our viewers a little bit about your overall career?
So I went to Sickles High School. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I graduated from Sickles, signed with the University of South Florida out of high school. And then I was at USF for 3 years and then transferred to Samford University, which is where I am now.
Cool. So talk to me just a little bit about that transfer process. I mean, obviously you ended up going to really the school that you wanted to go to, originally at USF, and then eventually got to Samford. Just talk to me a little bit about how you eventually ended up at Samford rather than any other school.
So it really all started when one of my quarterback coaches, Chip Bennett, his son, CJ, was the running backs coach here. And I grew up watching CJ play quarterback in high school. I grew up always being around him just because his dad was one of my coaches. So me being familiar with him, got me up on the visit to Samford. And then once I met Coach Hatcher and the rest of the staff, I really felt comfortable, with coming to Samford.
Cool. My next question for you, Chris, is just tell me what you believe is the best part about your game.
I believe the best part about my game is, being able to extend the plays after, if the first read's not there, stuff breaks down in the pocket, I'm able to, use my feet and get outside the pocket and make some throws downfield on the run or take off with the ball. And, for a defense, it's hard to stop that once I get outside the pocket because then I can throw it in, run it. Someone I try to emulate my game after is Patrick Mahomes, just because he does such a good job at, extending plays, when things aren't there, stuff breaks down in the pocket. So I definitely say that's the best part of my game.
Cool. And, I was going to ask you, obviously everyone's situation this offseason is, a lot different than normal. Tell me a little bit about just your experience this offseason. Where have you been working out? What have you been working on in order to better your game?
So I was back home in Tampa, for the past 5 months. Just, first I was just working out in the weight room, which was a real big, focus point of mine this offseason. Put on 12 pounds, so I'm sitting at around 210 now. So I feel good. Filled out while also maintaining my speed. So that's something I worked on. Then also working with my quarterback coaches, John Kaleo and CJ Bennett. I would work with them 4 times a week, just, sharpening and finding all those little, intricacies of playing quarterback and making sure my footwork's right, making sure all my reads and everything like that. And just making sure that, when the lights come on, I'm ready to go.
Cool. So, obviously as a quarterback, I feel like a lot of people look to you as really one of the leaders of the football team. First of all, I guess, do you see yourself as a leader? And second, really, what kind of a leader are you on the team? So talk to me a little bit about that for you.
Well, I definitely see myself as a leader. I'm that type of leader that likes to, show action before, I just go out and say something. I want my teammates to look up to me, see me doing something and me setting the example for, how things should be done, whether we're in the weight room, on the field or in the classroom. I always want to be that guy that, people want to follow and want to, emulate. So. But then there's also been times, which I've learned over my 5-year career, is that, you got to know just your teammates and how differently they all get pushed. There's some guys where I can get up in their face and, be assertive with and they take it right. But there's other guys that aren't like that. So, with other guys, I pull them to the side and I talk to them, and there's just different types of leadership skills that I've learned throughout my time in college that has really benefited not only myself but my teammates.
Cool. So my next question is really just break things down a little bit in the film room. I mean, when you're studying your opponent, when you're preparing for your next game, what are you looking for? Some of the tendencies, or maybe when you're looking at yourself and you're trying to critique yourself as a player. Just break things down for me in the film room for a little bit.
Well, I'm one of my harshest critics. So, I'm always hard on myself when watching game film. But when I'm watching the defenses, I really want to know how they play. Their play style, whether it be a corner, if they're a long corner, if they're fast, if their hips are good, how well they move, if they're good in man, if they're better in zone. Defensive line, how fast they get off the ball, if they try to jump the snap count. With linebackers, how well they move, and if we do get them in a man situation, is it a mismatch, or just those types of things are things I look for. Really just looking at their physical traits and how they play.
Good. Next question really is just tell me about maybe a memorable play or moment in your career so far that I don't know, maybe you tell a lot of people or something that really defines you as a player. I mean, I realize this past season you had an excellent game against Tennessee Tech, throwing for over 400 yards. And, you've also had games where you put up great stats as a runner too. So talk to me about, either a memorable play or moment that really defines you as an athlete.
I think the Tennessee Tech game definitely defined me, as a quarterback and, as a player I am today, just because, for the simple fact that I didn't even start the game. I didn't even come in. I came in the third series. I had that chip on my shoulder, and I was telling people on the sideline, like, once I get in the game, there's no looking back. And, to overcome adversity, is something I've done my whole life. And so for me, that was nothing new. And for my teammates and my coaches to believe in me that much, and to put the ball in my hands that much was something I'm grateful for. And even though we didn't get the win that night, it was something that I look back on and not only reflects the type of football player I am, and proving people that I can sit there in the pocket, dice you up from the pocket and run, but also my character as a person.
Good. I mean, I definitely agree with it. That for the most part. I mean, obviously, a lot of people, if they don't already know, I mean, you were recruited really as a dual threat quarterback out of Florida, and really, at least just this past season, I mean, you've been able to prove that yes, you can be a dual threat quarterback. You go out there, you could run about 100 yards if need be. But then in other games, you're able to go out there and throw for over 400 yards like you did against Tennessee Tech. So definitely agree with all of that. Chris, tell me a little bit about who you are off the football field. I mean, let's just talk about, you just as a student. What's your major there at Samford?
I'm a communications major in sports broadcasting. It's always something. Just growing up watching ESPN and guys like Stuart Scott, I always felt like that was a career that I would want to pursue one day, and it's something that I think is really cool. I want to stay in the sports world, and I think that's a really cool opportunity too.
Cool, and I have in my notes that you're also a member of, I think it's Sigma Chi.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about what that is, and really how that's been a part of you as a student.
So I joined, I pledged Sigma Chi when I was a sophomore at the University of South Florida. And for me, at first I didn't really know much. I just had a couple friends in it, that told me I should rush and join it. So I did it. And, at first I used to, think of fraternities way differently than, actually being in one. After I met 150 guys that, come from all over the world, I have brothers that are from, Germany, Jamaica, all over the world. And, seeing what they've done post-grad now and getting jobs all over the country and really big positions and being able to have those networks, is something that I don't take for granted.
Neat. And Chris, I was also going to ask you, do you have any interests or anything just about you that you want people to know of you? Like, again, just you as a person, not necessarily as an athlete.
Well, I'm really laid back. I never really stress or harp over things too much. I love being from Florida. I'd love to be on the water. Whether it's the lake or the Gulf. Just being on the boat, being on the water, tubing, fishing. All those fun things. It's just I sort of grew up doing all those things, and then playing Madden. If I'm just in my room, I'm usually playing Madden. Trying to challenge people and play them because I always believe I'm the best Madden player. So those are really things I like to joke around a lot. It's with my roommates or whoever I'm around. So that's really how I am off the field.
Neat. Chris, I was just going to give you the opportunity, maybe give a shout out to some of the guys that really have just helped you along the way and gotten you to where you are right now. Let's just talk a little bit about some of the coaches. Let's give them a shout out. Anybody there that you really admire.
Definitely Coach Sean King. He was my quarterback coach my freshman year at USF. He's definitely, to this day, I still talk to him. He's always been in my corner, no matter what, on and off the field. And was somebody that, I watched growing up, play for the Bucs as a Bucs fan. Being able to play for him, was really something that, I could have never dreamed of. And him just being like a mentor for me now has, our relationship's grown so much ever since I was a freshman. So he's definitely someone I admire. And then also Coach Hatcher, being a transfer, he didn't have to give me another opportunity, but he did. He took a chance on me, and, that's something I can never repay him back for. So, definitely Coach King and Coach Hatcher, they're two different coaches and they're from two different universities, but both of them have had such a great impact on my life that, I can't repay them both. I can't thank them both enough for it.
Cool. Chris, as we begin to wrap things up a little bit, I always ask guys this one question. I know it's a little corny, but I just want to hear it from your mouth. Give me your why. Why do you play football?
I play it because, outside of me just loving the sport and, love competing, I love to be, on a team and on a team that's, all in for one common goal. There's not many sports where you have, over 80 guys on a team and you guys are all striving towards one common thing. So I think that's something that I've always fallen in love with. I love the excitement and the joy that football brings to me. It allows me to, forget everything that's going on in the world or in my life. And, I just put it all on the field. So, and then I've always had my dream ever since I was little is to play in the NFL. And, I never quit. I never give up on my dreams. And it's always been plan A. So got to get it.
Cool. And Chris, I'll give you about 30 seconds, man. Give me your final pitch to a professional team as to why they should draft you, sign you. What do you bring as a teammate?
As a teammate, I'm going to do whatever it takes, to win. I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do. I'm a good locker room guy. I think I'm pretty funny. I like to joke around. But, when we step on the field, it's all business. And whatever, I'm a competitor. I'm going to compete with whoever's in the building. And, whatever it takes to win is what I'm going to do.
Great. Well, Chris, this has been good just sitting with you, talking with you about, you as a student and as a player and a guy off the field. I think it's great. I think people really need to know who you are. I mean, Samford has been able to produce some good talent. They've got some guys in the league right now. I mean, I know that the guy that you replaced was Devlin Hodges, and he's done well for himself for the most part in the league. So I expect great things for you there at Samford. Again, this is Chris Oladokun. He's a quarterback out of Samford and really one of the top small school quarterbacks right now. Chris, thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.